Upper elementary teachers, I've got the perfect thing for you to start implementing into your independent time. It is so much better than centers. It will completely revolutionize how your kids engage during their independent time, and it is going to be so much simpler for you. So get ready, because in this video, I'm going to be sharing all about it. So it is no secret that I have always spoken about my hate for centers. My experience when I first became a kindergarten teacher was that I implemented centers. We were doing the daily 5, and so I had all the different stations inside of my classroom. I worked to differentiate it. I was spending my weekends in front of the TV, cutting out so many different activities for my students, and then I realized that they weren't even doing them correctly. So I really wanted to look for a way to be able to have my students engage with work that was more individualized, personalized, more goal-based, versus me just putting everybody into a station that they would have to work on no matter where they were as far as their levels. So I wanted to share with you my goal station. So I decided to start implementing something called a goal station. I knew that I wanted my students to be able to set goals because it's such an important skill for them to be able to learn from a very, very young age. And yes, I had kindergartners setting goals and they were practicing towards those goals. So I was already incorporating elements of this goal station in kindergarten, but it didn't look exactly like this. So when I moved to upper elementary, I was not about to start putting in centers because I wanted to build more independence. Goal station allows you to build that independence, allows you to teach that important skill of goal setting and being able to master those goals, and it also personalizes the instruction of your students. Here's what I love about it the most, is that I don't have to stress about maintaining this or changing out the activities. Once you have it done, it's done. You just need to make sure that all is well, like all the pieces are where they need to be, and you can even find a responsible student in your classroom to help you with that. But I don't have to remake activities and put new things in there. It's not thematic, it's not any of that. It's based on instructional goals that you want your students to be able to achieve. So this is my little goal station. I have an IKEA cube that I've purchased. It's just 4 of them. And then inside of it, I have these bins. So these are the bins that I use. I love these bins. I got these from Amazon. I will leave a link so that you guys can go and check it out. And inside of it are various folders. So right now you can see that this one has a label on it. It says literature comprehension. I have one that is for grammar resources, fluency resources, and then also words and vocabulary. And so I add on to this because in the previous years, I've only had it for 5th and 6th grade, so I'm trying to now build one for 4th grade. All of my other 5th and 6th grade activities are put inside of my storage closet since I don't have any way of using those. So I build onto it as I go, and as I teach certain lessons, I will place those inside of there. And now that I'm teaching informational, I wanted to have you guys join me in creating one for informational comprehension. So I'm going to take you through the process of how I put together my entire goal station, and I'm gonna warn you, it's gonna take all week because this is a little bit of a time-consuming project when you first get started, but once it's done, which is such a happy thought. So we're going to talk about goal stations. We're going to be talking about some of the activities to put in there, and I'm going to be sharing with you some of the ways that I implement these inside of my own classroom. So I'm excited to get these started, and I will be sharing more with you as we go through the day. It is officially the next day. I was in a little bit of a funk yesterday, and when this kid started coming in, it was just there was no use in me trying to do much of anything else. So I want to walk you through one of the most critical components when it comes to setting up a goal station inside of your classroom. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to look at a spreadsheet that I have created. Okay, so one of the things that I really wanted to make sure when I was creating this goal station is that, one, I could keep a track of what are the activities that I'm putting inside of it. because I wanted to make sure that I had a variation of activities, meaning not everything was task cards, because if everything's task cards, it's very lower level knowledge. I wanted to provide some opportunities for more projects. I wanted to offer my students a little more creative things that they could be working on to really tap into the personalized component of it. So I decided to create a spreadsheet, and this is actually a spreadsheet that I'm going to be sharing out with you all at the end of the month if you are part of my mailing list. So I recommend that you follow the link and get a part of the mailing list, so that way you can get this spreadsheet as well, and it's all ready for you to go. And that is, again, going out on the last Tuesday of this month. So you're going to notice that down here at the bottom, I have different tabs. I have the comprehension, literature, informational, fluency, grammar, words, vocabulary, and so on and so forth. And these are broken into my buckets. And so then I really wanted to make sure that I was hitting some of the targeted skills and skills in areas that I really want my kids to have opportunities to practice with. So I created an asking and answering questions. I had a text features, text structures, main idea, key details, summarizing, and point of view. And these things you can add in as you start to go through them, but this is what I started with. And I did this for each of the areas. So I just basically sat down and tried to think, like, what are some of the focus areas and skills I want my kids to have practice with? And this gives me a really good starting point. You have to have a starting point. You have to have a way to be able to organize that information, or else it's going to feel very overwhelming. And this was that for me. And so one of the things that I wanted to do is that as I was adding in activities, I could come over here and do, task cards. I would have one for an all about me text features book. And so it would offer different variations. I would just put the title there. And then once I have that, as students are working on that, and we set that as like an area where they're going to focus and complete, I could check them off. And what this allows me to do is just to make sure that I'm not repeating activities with my kids. So when I sit down for their goal stations and we start to look at what we want them to focus on and they're picking activities, I can make sure that I'm tracking what they're doing, and they're not, again, duplicating some of those activities that they've already done at a different point in the year. So this is where I am now. Now I need to start collecting some of the activities for the goal station. So it's been a little bit since I have recorded last. Our gym teacher was out sick a day, and so I had to be a gym teacher for a day. I've realized I never want to be a gym teacher ever again. And then yesterday, I just had the worst headache ever. We've had a lot of change when it comes to the weather here. And it just has been really, really funky. So I have been working to get a few things done when it comes to the goal station. I want to share with you where I am at this point, and then start talking to you a little bit about how I start to put it all together. It is Thursday currently. So as I've been working on this, I've been doing a little bit every single day, just to kind of give you guys a perspective of how long does it take to really put one of these together. It takes a little bit of time. I will tell you though, I don't work on this at home. So if that gives you a better idea, I only do things here in school. And I lost a special one day. I was a gym teacher. Oh, bless all you gym teachers out there. And I didn't have a special yesterday because it's only 15 minutes long. So I have had 2 days now in a row where I haven't had much time to really devote to this. But I have gotten some done, and I'm excited to share with you. Okay, let's look at our goal station over here. Okay, I decided to move us over here because the lighting is better than it is on that corner of my classroom, which is where my goal station is located. So we're over here, and so I want to show you some of the things that I've been working on. So one of the bigger things is that I want to utilize this goal station for students to be able to demonstrate their mastery and understanding of the concept or skill that I'm teaching. So what I've been working on is creating some of these choice boards, and you can see that this is an informational choice board for text features. And so I've tried to put different tasks that would allow students to demonstrate their understanding. So I have things as basic as task cards, of features about me, which I'm going to show you in a minute, text features poster that they can work on, text features hunt, which I do have and available, boom cards, because I love, love, love boom cards. As a quick side note, I am going to be doing a video coming up talking about some of the applications that I love for reading and writing, because a lot of them out there are just no bueno. So I wanted to share some of my favorites with you guys. So be looking for that in the month of March. Okay, back to the choice board. I have this text feature matching, a flip book, and then also a presentation that the kids could work on. So you can see it's like a variety of different options. Now, this does not mean that these are the only things that I'm going to have inside of this folder. I can always add more things to it, but at different levels. This is just for them to be able to demonstrate their understanding. So inside of this, my thought is that I'm going to actually add this to the outside of the folder. And then on the inside, I have my different folders. Now, these are very basic ones. They're not the ones that I really want. I wanted one that has like a zipper pouch that I would be able to add my cards in there. Unfortunately, I can't find those at the Dollar Tree anymore. But this one is the features about me writing. So you can see it has the directions here, and then they would open it up and they would already see these packets. So this one is a text feature about me, and they would work on a book about themselves, and they would utilize different text features. So they would just go through the list of them, and that's it. They could share it with the class. We could post it up in the classroom library for them to be able to look at that one. I'll put this back later. The next one I have is a text features hunt. Again, I place the directions on the outside so that kids can have an understanding of what to do, and it just makes sure that nothing gets lost. And then on the inside, there's this one. So they have what the text feature is. It gives them the directions. They would fill this out with 4 different features that they can identify. And then I have task cards. Guys, you can use anything you have. Now, these are some that I've purchased from TBT myself, and I really like them. And so these are the ones that I'm going to utilize. I keep recording sheets here for them, and they can access this whenever they need it. So that is what one of these folders would look like. I put all of the folders in one hanging file folder system. That way, we can keep it pretty organized. I should go through and label some of the task cards to make sure that they are placed where they're supposed to go. But kids keep them pretty organized. Again, for the most part, I just have to make sure I'm putting in time to go in and double check that everything still looks good and it's in its place. But you can also find students to do that. So I have another one that I'm working on for text structures. So you can see here's the choice board, getting an idea of what I'm putting in there. And then I'm utilizing some of the things that I've done in the past. So a couple of these, actually both of these are going to be from, I believe it's Teaching with a Mountain View. She's amazing. I love her. But she did the final magazine, like a magazine project. So I'm going to place that in there. Again, I'll have copies for students. And then I have some of her task cards as well. So I have her task cards with the recording pages already in there for students to be able to practice. So that is a couple of things that I would place inside of that folder. So then what I would end up doing is inside of this bin, it would be labeled with informational, like comprehension. And so that way students know exactly what type of bin it is. And so all of the activities are going to help with comprehension with an informational text. So what I would do is then take all the activities. Again, I'm going to probably laminate this and then just staple it to this little outside folder. But I would place these activities right inside like that. Okay, so then students have a very clear understanding of where all of the materials are going to be located. They can access the materials. I don't have to do that for them. They know where it's going to be, and it's going to be completely organized. So all of these items, this one would be for text structures, would be placed here, and then it would have its own separate file folder. So they could literally take out the entire file folder and then like flip through the different activities to be able to decide on one of them. But that's how I organize it. So this is the basic organization of what the activities are like. Again, I love these bins, highly, highly recommend them. I've had them for years and years, and they still are phenomenal. It is a little bit of an investment, but they're definitely worth it. So I'll leave a link so that you guys can go and check these out. So that's it. I mean, you can use any folder. I have a hodgepodge of folders. If you were like, you know, probably Michelle, where you have to have your folders all kind of be the same, understandable. But because I've been using these for so many years and some folders just don't last, I just have a hodgepodge of folders inside of them. So now that I have this part done, there are a couple of other really critical components that you have to have with this to ensure that it's like a well-oiled machine, that you're not putting in so much extra work that you're killing yourself. So I want to share with you a few more things that you have to make sure that you have set up in order to make this goal station work. Because the idea of having so many kids on different levels doing different things is very overwhelming, and it will feel overwhelming in the beginning. And so here's my tip for you. If you are wanting to get started with this, I recommend getting a group of kids first that you feel as though you can trust to get started with it. Train them, and then they can be kind of your helper whenever other kids are getting started. So you would start with a group and then slowly start to have other kids get involved with this process. If you just try to dive in and make everybody do it at the exact same time, you're gonna feel overwhelmed and you're gonna quit. So don't do that to yourself, break it down. But let me go ahead and get these things put away, and then I wanna show you a few more things with this and to hopefully make it all work for you. Can we all just appreciate for a minute how crazy my week has felt? I have stacks of papers. I have folders that I need to take care of. I have things over here, things over there, more things over there, things inside of my bin. This week at school has been one to really challenge me. I don't think I've ever been so excited that it is a Friday, but I am so happy that today is Friday. The sun is shining. It looks like it's going to be gorgeous outside. Winter, I don't think, is here anymore. And it has been a very long week, so I am looking forward to my 2 days and then a 4-day week next week, which is going to be very nice. Well, at least with kids. I have a 5-day week. They have a 4-day week. So I wanted to share one more thing about setting up your goal station, and is something to really make sure that you are successful when setting this up. Because the systems, the processes that you create is really going to be the biggest factor in whether it's successful or not. So I wanted to share a binder that I have started to put together. Again, I feel like all of this is something that takes a little bit of work, and it's mainly because I don't want to take work home. So I do all of this when I'm here in school. I don't bother with any of this at home. I did that for many, many years. I'm not going to do it anymore. So I have been setting this up, and it's been slow moving, but it's been working out really, really well for me. So let me show you what's inside of it. I've had this binder since I've taught kindergarten. It is well loved. It looks a little dirty on camera. Okay, so inside of the binder are a few different things. The first is going to be over here on this side, and these are just going to be extra sheets. So this is a goal sheet, and this is a weekly goal sheet that I use to help me track my students. So I will put the week, and then I'll put the block, and then I'll name my students, and I'll name the goal that they're focusing on along with the station that they're working in. Sometimes it's a continuation from the previous week. Other times they're finished with it within a week, and then I'm able to check them off. But I fill out one of these at the beginning, sometimes the end if I'm really, really good with my time and I'm not exhausted. But I'll fill these out every week so that I know what my students are working on. The next part is going to be the student sheet. So this is what their page looks like. It's going to have what is their goal, how are they planning on meeting their goal, the times and days that they're working on things, and then they have like a short reflection here. So they put this inside of their folder and they staple it to their final product, and they turn this in to me at the very end of whatever it is that they're working on. This next part is going to be where it's like an example of one of my students' pages. So I'm going to go ahead and flip over so that you guys can see the next part. But here you're going to notice that we have literature comprehension, informational comprehension, we got word study, we have grammar, and then we have fluency there. This is where I keep all of my resources and my answer keys. So what I've done, and let's go to the informational because that's what we've been working on. I went on ahead and created and made my choice board. So these are just for my reference here. These are ones that I'm still thinking about doing for the main idea choice board, which is not totally done yet. But then I have answer keys for any form of like task cards that I have possibly placed inside of this station. So I've done that with pretty much all of them. So you can see my literature one has way more, I feel like, because I've purchased more task cards, it seems like, over the years. But this is where I keep those. Towards the very, very back. And that makes it really nice for me when I'm trying to grade something because I can quickly just get to it. But then towards the very back, I have more pages for me to be able to make copies of. I think I would like to put these inside of page protectors. Right now they're just clipped to the back of my binder here, but I think I would end up putting these in page protectors. That way I can just make quick copies of them and then put them right back. So that is the binder. That is what that looks like. So I think with having this system in place, having a way for me to be able to track what my students are doing, but then also give them their feedback pretty quickly with all of the resources in this binder, it just makes it a little bit easier for managing it and it doesn't feel overwhelming. So if you set a lot of these things up in advance, it's gonna feel better. But that's it, that's my goal station, guys. I hope that you've enjoyed this very hodgepodge of a video, it feels like, because it was like little spurts that I had time over the course of this week to be able to record it. But I do have videos coming up where I'm going in depth with them a little bit more. So the next week I'm going to start talking about you know, how does it end up personalizing? So if you're kind of on the fence of whether or not to consider it, I'm going to talk about some reasons for why it personalizes the learning and why you should be implementing them into your classroom. And then at the very end of the month, I also have a video that's going out about some tips for helping you to manage it a little bit better. So if you have questions on a goal station, let me know down below. Don't forget to sign up for my email list so that you can get some of the freebies that I have for this. That's going to be going out throughout the month. So be sure to check that out. I am going to go ahead and start getting ready for the day. I'm not going to record anymore. That is what I've told myself. I'm going to get it done. I've got my Bridging Literacy t-shirt on. It's my comfort colors and I love it. Wearing my green. It's my favorite. But I hope that you guys have had a wonderful week. I know, I feel like February is so tiring. I get exhausted during this time, but let me know how you're doing. Let me know how everything is going. Let me know what you're looking forward to in the upcoming months, because sometimes we need to think about what's happening later on to help us kind of look at that as like a, ooh, I can't wait for this. And it just kind of is that motivational piece. But anyways, so thank you guys so much for watching and I will catch you all next week. Bye.